The three-part One Chicago series on NBC examines how law enforcement and emergency services operate on the inside. Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and Chicago Med are part of the franchise. The show has been quite successful among the masses. This is why there are a lot of Chicago franchise moments from each season that made fans gasp, and rightly so. What moments are we talking about? Well, in today's video, we're going to explore everything in detail, chronologically. So let's dive into the video, shall we? How are all the three franchises of One Chicago crossing over? Each series operates as a procedural and centers on a small, tight-knit group of people trying to prevent tragedies and solve crimes. Even though each series may stand alone, the three frequently cross over in connected cases and crossover episodes. The three shows' strong connections to one another give the franchise a seamless vibe. Additionally, these shows have occasionally crossed paths with their New York-based equivalents and feature the same producer, Dick Wolf, as the long-running Law & Order franchise. What do the One Chicago plots revolve around? The One Chicago shows, like most procedurals, center on intriguing cases that challenge the protagonist's abilities in each episode. However, the franchise also emphasizes the backstories and distinctive characteristics of its principal characters. In addition to documenting their professional lives, the teams also treat one another more as a family than as co-workers as a result of their constant partnerships. This complicated environment produces intriguing plot lines and believable character connections. Longtime admirers can't forget many of the stunning and devastating events that it also produces. These jaw-dropping scenes from the One Chicago series continue to be spoken about long after they have already happened and continue to astound new viewers. Let's explore the top 7 significant moments in detail now. Number 7. Chicago PD, Wrong Side of the Bars, Season 1, Episode 2. Kidnapping cases are frequently included in criminal procedurals since they are among the most serious and terrifying crimes imaginable. To save victims, law enforcement must respond quickly, and mistakes are often made. Viewers can see the intelligence unit work to solve a kidnapping that affects one officer personally in the episode of Wrong Side of the Bars. The intensity level that viewers have come to expect from the series is established in this episode, which picks up where the Season 1 opener left off. Diego Dawson's kidnappers are being sought after by Antonio Dawson, who is at the center of the narrative. The confrontation between police enforcement and the kidnapper, who is holding Diego at gunpoint, is one of the most upsetting scenes in this episode. The intelligence unit comes up with a quick solution to free Diego from his captivity by working with the Union Station bus staff. Fortunately, it is successful, but until the very end, supporters are left gasping for air. According to Empty Lighthouse magazine, the stunning cinematography and suitable pace in this action-packed episode set a high bar for the rest of the series. At the end of a thrilling episode, Dawson's relief at seeing his kid again is a good resolution. Number 6. Chicago Fire, Until Your Feet Leave the Ground, Season 2, Episode 18. Despite frequently emphasizing the heroic aspects of firefighting, Chicago Fire also emphasizes the negative sides of this line of work. In Season 2, Daisy Betts plays the short-lived role of fire cadet Rebecca Jones, yet her story is poignant and devastating. Jones has struggled to fit in with her fellow firefighters throughout her career, but her problems are even more problematic. Because of his opposition to women joining firefighters, her father, Deputy District Chief Lionel Jones, has excessive stress that eventually becomes untenable. Until Your Feet Leave the Ground closes with Dawson learning the horrific news that Rebecca Jones's body has been discovered after she commits suicide. Executive producer Matt Olmstead adds in an interview with TV Guide that the writers intended Jones' departure to have a big impact and thought that this episode was a suitable way to wrap up her journey. In later episodes, the Firehouse 51 staff struggles to understand the fire cadet's suicide and questions whether they could have done anything to prevent it. Although Jones's scenario is regrettably plausible, Chicago Fire viewers on a Reddit post feel that the show might have spent more time exploring her past and mental health before her death. Number 5. Chicago PD, Start Digging, Season 3, Episode 23. The most well-known character in Chicago PD is perhaps Sergeant Hank Voight, a committed policeman who has dealt with numerous tragedies throughout the series. For instance, Voight goes through a major life change that is tragic for fans in the Season 3 episode Start Digging. Justin, Voight's son, is a disturbed young man who frequently finds himself in legal problems. Although he progressively attempts to atone for his transgressions, in this episode his past catches up with him. To the shock of the audience, police discover Justin in a car's trunk with a gunshot wound to the skull. When Justin arrives at the hospital, he is still alive, but it quickly quickly becomes apparent that he will never fully recover from his wounds. Sergeant Voight was successful in finding and killing the shooter of Justin, but he is unable to rejoice. He makes the difficult choice to turn off his son's life support in one of the most heartbreaking scenes of the first seasons. Fans of Chicago PD claim that Sergeant Voight's life was irrevocably changed by Justin's sudden death in a Reddit discussion. Start Digging, according to several people, is among the best episodes of the series despite being difficult to watch. Number 4. Chicago Fire – The Beating Heart. Season 4, Episode 10. Christopher Herman, a seasoned fireman, is the proprietor of Molly's Bar, a favorite gathering place for the Firehouse 51 crew. He is a kind yet a strong-willed individual who works long hours to support his huge family. However, Herman's goals almost come to a fatal end in a Season 4 crossover with Chicago Med. A 3-part crossover that begins with the episode The Beating Heart puts Herman in peril. Fans are surprised to find the barkeep bleeding out on the floor of Molly's after an argument with a young man who is linked with a gang named Freddie Clementi in the previous episode. He's been stabbed multiple times and his condition is swiftly getting worse. Given that Herman wants to assist Freddie in leaving his gang life behind, this unexpected development is all the more devastating. Freddie was employed as a busboy at Molly's when the stabbing occurred while he considered his next course of action. To Herman's luck, other firefighters locate him in time to take him urgently to the hospital. When they arrive, they left him in the Chicago Med team's expert care. Fans of One Chicago will have to wait until the end of the crossover event to find out if Herman survives his trauma, despite the medical staff's best efforts to keep him stable. Members of Firehouse 51 are relieved to learn that their co-worker will recover at the end of the crossing. Number 3. Chicago Med – I Will Come to Save You. Season 6, Episode 16. The doctors on Chicago Med occasionally have to make morally challenging decisions to save lives. Dr. Archer, on the other hand, takes the simple course of action to remove the patient's appendix to avert a more catastrophic medical emergency in the instance of Neil Dietrich. In the Season 6 conclusion, I Will Come to Save You, a furious Dietrich returns to confront Dr. Archer and his colleague Dr. Choi. This episode, like many season finales, features multiple crucial moments for the main characters, including a startling conclusion to the physician's confrontation with Dietrich. Choi and Archer are confronted by Dietrich, who insists that his recent medical procedure was harmful. Dr. Archer tries to explain, but the patient with the pistol gets angrier. The quarrel between the three guys quickly transforms into a pivotal moment in their lives. While attempting to disarm Dietrich, Dr. Choi is shot in the abdomen. The audience is caught off guard by the sudden conflict. Though it's initially uncertain whether the gifted doctor would survive the experience, Dr. Archer makes several daring choices in the operating room that ensure Dr. Choi's survival. Telltale TV says that Season 6 of Dr. Choi had many twists and turns, and the shooting brings this difficult season to a horrible climax for him. Number 2. Chicago PD – Blood Relation. Season 9, Episode 14. Officer Kim Burgess is one of the CPD intelligence unit's most sympathetic employees. She gradually assumes care of Michaela, a young child left orphaned after her father kills her mother and is sent to prison, throughout Seasons 8 and 9. Following the resolution of the murder case involving Michaela's mother, Burgess chooses to pursue adoption. Burgess confronts her final challenge in completing Michaela's adoption in the Season 9 episode Blood Relation, as the girl's uncle Theo fights to become her legal guardian. Fortunately for Burgess, the courts determine that she is Michaela's best place to be. Number 1. Chicago Fire 200. Season 10, Episode 5. It's never easy for television viewers to see characters depart from their favorite shows, especially if those characters had a long run on the program. In the Season 10, Episode 200, Chicago Fire viewers sadly have to bid a surprising goodbye to a longtime cast member. A favorite character among fans in the series premiere, Captain Matt Casey, made his acting debut and quickly established himself as a crucial member of the Firehouse 51 team. Season 10 allows him to pursue something equally significant though. He discovers that the slain firefighter Andrew Darden's boys are having a difficult time adjusting to life in Portland, Oregon. Fans will still miss seeing Casey even though his departure from Chicago Fire was smooth and believable. Casey was a strong, undeniably likable character. Jesse Spencer, who left Chicago Fire, was upset about it, but he chose to be open to new options, according to USA Today. The actor did add, though, that his departure from the franchise might not be final as he continues to live close to where the show is filmed in Chicago. Spencer and the show's creators left room for Captain Casey to make a comeback in subsequent seasons as he explains to his fellow firefighters that his move to Portland is only for 3 years. What moment has been your favorite and from which season? one? Let us know in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more videos.